Hi there. My name is Lucy Howell. This is my partner, Dr. Robert Gillio, and we are here to share some executive reflections as we lean into the second part of 2022. Force for Health is really a omnimedia type of platform that is specifically focused on delivering free and low cost, but high quality information for those that want to really improve their health and the outcomes of those that they care about the most, whether that be their family and their communities. And we really are focused on how can we help you protect the gift. We really believe that breath and life and health is really a gift to be protected. And in no time more than I can remember, in my half of a century old, has it been more important to really work together so that we can stay healthy, be well, do good, be kind. And so I'm honored to actually kick off this series with my partner in crime, who's based out of Colorado State College, Pennsylvania, Dr. Robert Gillio. And it happens to actually be his birthday today. So Rob, it's been a crazy time. You and I have been working together for, gosh, 4.5, 5 years on this. We're finally being able to bring our baby to fruition, and it's kind of version 2 of phase. But it's been a crazy time with COVID, with women's rights, and with mental health and mass shootings. And you've got so much experience as a father of 5, as a Mayo trained clinician, as somebody that was there on the ground at 9/11 and Katrina and Boston Marathon. I mean, holy cow, everything that we've been kind of working together on is coming to fruition in 2022. So where do you think we are as a State of the Union on the day after, not only your birthday, but the day after July 4th, where we come together and should have been celebrating the birth of our incredible, strong country? We continue to have issues. What's going on?
Well, first of all, thank you, Lucy. I remain very optimistic as I look at the quality of most of our citizens, especially our young people, and seeing them really be benevolent and wanting to help others. I see my experience, the poor and those that are in dire distress are often the most generous. I'm very optimistic about the human spirit. And as we talk about protecting the gift, it's not just, what we eat and how much exercise we have, but it's the gift of the health of our families, because I'm caring for my mother-in-law, for instance, the gift of the health of our communities. And if we have hate in our communities, and if we have disparities with what access to healthcare and other services are available, we're going to have problems. We have to work as a team together to try and do this. I think I would summarize, we're in the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We are free Americans, but you know what? I don't feel like I'm living in a state of freedom. I'm living in a state of feardom. And to me, feardom is economic. I watch the stock market drop as someone who's in retirement age and with a very fixed and limited income right now. Whatever is invested, if that drops dramatically, that dramatically affects my quality of life, my ability to access food and healthcare and those things. I look at disparities in the information of what is true and what's not. So how can we differentiate what is real information, good scientific, validated facts, good journalism? And I think we have to really work on our skills to be able to do that on our own. We look at a potential war in Europe, and many of us have European ancestry, and our parents can very much relate, or my grandparents, to those war times. A lot of things happening. And then I look at, in my North Suburban Chicago community, talking with my mother yesterday, who was at a picnic near Highland Park, Illinois, who desperately wanted to get home, where we have family friends. We called and texted, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Did you go to the parade?" What the heck is happening to our country? And so I want us to think about, how can we address our mutual ignorance of what is true? And we've all gotten a bit confused. How do we go back to the Constitution? How do we go back to what our founding fathers, and I notice not mothers, but our founding fathers have provided? And you may have some thoughts along those lines, Lucy. And I'd like to talk about, how do we get through when stuff happens, how can we be safe and resilient? So in Force for Health, we're looking at how can we be a healthy citizen of the world, a health promoting citizen of the world. Let's start in our own backyard. What can we do, Luce, with Force for Health? You've been working on a program helping us with just understanding the basics of citizenship in the United States and the right, what voting accomplishes, or who can change policies and laws and who can't. Any thoughts there?
We are honored and humbled to have as one of our leadership and advisory council members, Mr. Charles Herberger. And he actually wrote the curriculum called You the People. And You the People was actually content that he gave for free to the junior ROTC program. So this is actually how over 1,000 high schools in the country teach those who are willing to step up and serve their country the very, very basics of what the rights and obligations are of a US citizen. It's not this kind of selfish, entitled, me type of deal that seems to permeate through certain sectors right now that is really, to me, the cause of a lot of this hate and divisiveness. And so revisiting what our rights are, and I've got an interview that I'm happy to link to this video a little bit later. And we even have a 10-part series. I mean, we digitize his content into the Force for Health network. And, he's actually honored to make available for free to go through and earn your badge for You the People. Of course, if you're a group leader and would like to use this content, we offer some pretty low cost group leading training programs too, but there are some principles in there, humility, respect. Those are just things that we just want to remind people. In fact, Rob, I think what we're going to do is we're going to ask folks by the end of July 30th to repledge to yourself, like, what can you do to stand up and to be more kind, to look left, look right, and let's just better understand our neighbors a little bit better. I do something at the beginning of every year where we had another horrific event called Beyond, which is where the very first Saturday with the Congress on the corner, somebody came out and shot people in the parking lot here in Tucson. So, we are becoming too common, these reminders of kindness, compassion, and understanding the differences of others. Now, to go back to the Constitution, just to go ahead and touch upon what you just said, I get that, and that is the frame. But let's remember there are 2.5 million people in the U.S. when the Constitution was signed. There are over 335 million people in the U.S. now, and there are obviously amendments and changes and continuous questioning of what was right then and is it right now. We did not get the right to vote. Women, African-American women didn't get the right to vote till 1965. There's all sorts of different laws that have been amended and changed. And so it's this constantly moving, portal and piece that I feel we should continue to look at and question. But the bottom line, Rob, the bottom line, as we lean into an off-year election year right now, is laws are determined and executed based on those in power, and those in power are voted in. So we can only sit back. The beauty of the Constitution creating a country like ours is that supposedly our laws reflect our elected officials. Now, there's flaws within that system, perhaps, but the fact of the matter is that we are still a country 40-40, right? 40 one party, 40 the other party, and then in the middle, the independents that will kind of dictate. So we have to be more civil. We have to be more, responsible for our own health on a civic and a healthy basis.
Well, and I think electing officials that are willing to compromise, in my mind, is the thing. I want to be very careful that anyone watching this doesn't think we're selling or pushing some patriot course on understanding how our government works. That works for all of us. We've had immigrants that take that course. And similarly, they put the comment about voting people in the office is something currently many people are talking about now in the aftermath of some Supreme Court decisions. As the only alternative. We're talking about America for the long haul, the checks and balances. And we can either move out and, go to Canada or Mexico if they would even have us at this point, or we can work to continue to make this a better place. With all the gun violence that's been happening, we had a bipartisan bill passed. It's nowhere near as far as many would have liked it to go, but it's a lot further than it's come in the last 30 years. Lucy, that kind of brings me back to the shooting type of thing. It's my birthday. There's a great movie out there. I think it's Tom Cruise. What's it with the? I'm blanking on it. But he's
Top Gun.
Top Gun. All right. What a great movie to go to. And the comment that a family member made to me is, if some idiot wanted to shoot up someone who was a certain audience, they'd go shoot up that movie theater's audience to make a point. Just like someone may have just shot up Highland Park, a predominantly Jewish community's parade, if they wanted to make a different point. Who knows? So I'm doing this call with you, Lucy, right now. I'm not at the Top Gun celebration. It's affecting me. And part of it is I think it's affecting all of us. We've been in isolation. As we re-socialize and re-engage in our community, there's a lot of things Force for Health is offering, but we'll talk more about that in other sessions, like our Force for Health Go app and some other such things. But right now, I think we need to have street smarts and understand how to be vigilant. Look for a situation that could be a little scary and avoid it. Or look for a situation that gets scary and say something or do something or get out of there. Look for, if you're in an active shooter situation, or for that matter, as Lucy's, we made a separate set of street smarts in Ukrainian for our fellow citizens of the world in the Ukraine that were having their apartments blow up and buildings collapse and no one to respond. So the average citizen, the milkman, the mail carrier, the student, the teenager had to help rescue people, had to help find water, had to learn how to stop bleeding. So I guess the point I'm getting at is, I think to feel better, to be less of a state of feardom versus freedom, I want to be free of fear because I have control over what I do, who I do it with, and I have a sense of control over a situation. So I can keep safe and keep my family safer, my friends safer. And if something happens, I know what to do. I don't just sit there like on TV where they cradle someone and say, hang in there. Don't lose me, don't lose me, don't go. As they have them in exactly the wrong position from a wound in the leg, facilitating that person dying 3 to 5 minutes earlier, as opposed to knowing how to quickly put on a tourniquet. So we get very practical, Lucy, in street smarts, but that's kind of prevent, prepare, that's respond. In the prevent and prepare side, there's a whole thing on resilience that we did after Hurricane Katrina, where finding the difference between stress and distress is a massive thing. I think many of us are in fear of our future income, of what's school going to be like, of will there be a job for me? Will I get COVID, variety number 85? What will I get? Will I be in a situation where, do I want to send my kids to school, or should I homeschool them? Could I be a good homeschool parent? Is what I'm teaching them the truth, or is it some fake curriculums? A lot of questions that have me in a state of feardom if I was a parent of younger kids right now, or if I was just starting out my life. But our goal is to give you the ability to really be a force for your health, literacy and numeracy, know how to do the numbers, understand the statistics, understand the science. But I think, to your point, really understanding what our rights are so that we use them and not abuse them. And we really come together as we the people for the people, united, not divided states of America. And as a beacon of light for the world, not a beacon of blight, as some might see us. So I'm excited for this year.
And I may add to that, Rob, when you say rights, it really is more rights, but also duty, rules, and responsibilities. Rights sounds like you're owed them, whereas duties, rules, and responsibilities puts you in more of an active stance in terms of, and quite frankly, isn't that the foundation of why you and I are so passionate about this concept called reality health games? You know, how do we get people to make more informed, kind of better decisions for all? Well, studies show that incentives play a long way in that motivation of action. And so if we can give people, Dr. Carmona, quite frankly, one of my long-term mentors on several projects I've worked with and on over the last 2 decades, had a tidbit that always stuck at the back of my head. And it was, Americans will make better decisions if given the information and the incentive to do so. And so we find that many people are incentivized to do things just strictly through rewards and competition, right?
Yeah, and I think also
kind of leaning into our next segment and kind of rounding out this deal is, you know, where we are going to be activating some interesting teams. And it's not possible to kind of do everywhere at the same time, but
No.
you and I are doing some focus on Arizona and Pennsylvania. I know you wanted to say something.
I like that, but I think, you know, as you mentioned, that reality health games, what's real, you know, these are real health issues. We're, quote, gamifying them to add the incentives that are internal. Like, I feel good about myself, I feel more confident, but external incentives work also, like getting real stuff, maybe an iPad or a scholarship or some other tangible thing, but also, Lucy, teamwork. And a group leader that helps pull together a small team that joins Force for Health and does an activity is a very valuable thing. And so in another session, let's talk about the group leader opportunity we have coming up. But it's my birthday and I want to get off and get out and celebrate. I'm very optimistic about this year, especially as we activate communities in Pennsylvania and Arizona and certain other places, literally around the world, where people have reached out to us to be part of the reality health movement, to be a force for health for themselves and others.
And really maybe just kind of reminding, since this is our first of a series of executive reflections here, you know, we really are looking to bring value to either individuals who are seeking better information, maybe for free, maybe for low cost, maybe within one app instead of like 8 different apps, you know. So yeah, if you are an individual 13 and up, you know, go to theforceforhealth.com and engage and start learning. Download our apps and start moving. Everything that you move, learn, serve, and earn, all your efforts will be counted. Now, more focused right now during July and August as we lean into a new school year is if you are a teacher, if you're a principal, if you're a school district leader, if you're a nonprofit group leader, and even if you're a corporate wellness a director, or if you're maybe a CEO of a small to medium-sized business, you know, if you are looking for tools to help support health so that you can better protect their gift, let us know. I mean, you can get started for free and to contact us, and we will set up a free consultation and help make that happen. So we really are hyper focused on connecting leaders from the education, healthcare, public space, and private space so that we can work better together. And what better way to do that than to launch the Reality Health Games this fall. So if you're interested in gamifying healthy citizenship, if you're interested in bragging about what your organization does, if you have so many volunteer hours that you know are, you know, you want to kind of help amplify, and or if you're looking for easier, you know, fundraising healthy revenue streams, let us know, join us, follow us, and we'll be back with the next episode of Executive Reflections. Any final words, Rob?
Don't forget the faith community and homeschool community as 2 that you mentioned. The goal is free or almost free resources for the world to make it no barriers for people to be more successful, being healthy advocates for themselves, their friends, and their family. Thank you, Lucy.
With that being said, happy birthday.
Thank you. All right.
Okay. www.theforceforhealth.com. Thank you.